And today we got a rising force in the Arkansas independent wrestling scene. He's a competitor who doesn't just step into the ring, he owns it. A performer building his legacy night after night, show after show, turning crowds into believers. He brings intensity, presence, and power, and he's doing it in his own way. He's the one, he's the force, the Samoan brute, Atua Daniel Thompson. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing?
We give him a round of applause, man. We gotta do that for him, man. Let's give him another one, y'all. Come on.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like the way you introduce him, but you know how we do this, right? You know I gotta say, I didn't give everybody their thing. I got the big chance for Big Chauncey. I got that USA,
Right?
you know what I'm saying? So we got a tour. So
You
we got
got to
the
come up
big.
with it, man.
Hey, you gotta say it right. The Samoan brute, a tour. You ain't be able to on it, bro. Come on, stop playing, bro. If you're gonna do it right, okay? Let's keep it real. Come on, you know how we do, man. Stop playing. We ain't fake around here on two ball guys, man. Let's keep it real, bro. Let's get it going.
Right?
All right, man. So we're gonna go ahead and ask some questions real quick, man. I would like to say it's a pleasure to have you here, bro. We had this planned and scheduled for a while. It didn't go, the way it's supposed to, but we got him here now. Big man in the studio, you know what I'm saying? So before we go on, I'd like to just about asking you to enlighten us and tell us a little bit about who Daniel Thompson Brown, aka 2 is.
Man, so myself, I'm really just a chill guy, you know what I'm saying? Especially now and at this moniker in my life. I've actually recently became a father this past year.
Oh, man, congratulations.
Bro. Congratulations, man.
I got a 4-month-old at the house now and everything like that. So I'm stepping into new ventures as I'm wrestling. To be honest, like I'm blessed to be here. I want to say thank you for letting me come on here and kind of share some of my life, because I feel like some of my life is something that I've always wanted to share to the people. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
Because there's a Tua, and then there's Daniel Brown-Thompson, and them just two different people. You know what I mean? And although like a Tua is in my heart and everything like that, it doesn't define me every day in my everyday life.
And that's cool. And that's the thing. Like on two ball guys, we always try to keep it. We like people to be real when they're around us. And I think a lot of people fail to realize, like we talk about all the time, as far as just being wrestling personalities, and then we're in the podcasting game. People don't seem to understand that word kayfabe means so much to us, because it's like we do have separate lives. So it's like,
Right.
Go ahead, Rich, man. You got something to lay on them real quick, bro?
Oh, man, I was just going to say, that's awesome. And absolutely, thank you for coming on. And as soon as you said that, man, I was like, oh, yeah, this is the interview that I've been wanting to have, man. Because just as Ontario said, man, we have the people come on, and that's the thing, when we're out there performing, don't get us wrong, that's always a passion of ours. That's, I know I'm just a ring announcer, and I say that, but I also know the important role that a ring announcer plays to an event, and to hype up the crowd for y'all. Like, again, that's a character that we play, but as he said, there is life outside of that, and especially for somebody on the independent scene like any one of us, that life doesn't stop outside of the ring, man. Oftentimes it piles up just higher. When you look back at younger you before wrestling, who was that kid? What did he believe in himself?
He believed in himself, but he believed in himself just a little bit too much. One thing about myself is when I was younger, I was in and out of trouble a lot. That was something that I had to deal with in my early teens into my late teens. By the time I hit 16, I had kind of reeled everything in, but I had did so much stuff that I shouldn't have done at such a young age. From breaking into schools to going places that I shouldn't have been past curfews, and getting caught and brought home by the police, and having, teachers and principals and everything call my parents, being suspended from school, had to go to an alternative learning center due to my behavior and stuff of that sort. I was just an angry kid growing up. So I took all that, and at a certain point, I started putting that into sports. And those sports and everything, it really made me the man I am today. It gave me the competitive edge that I have today.
And see, I'm glad you went there, because that gives gonna give me a pick. Let's give him an applause on that, man. That's that's special, man. To have a person, man, that understand. And me and Daniel have talked, because we have a little bit of history of friendship. We belong to the same wrestling entity as far as school wise. You know, I do a little bit more things outside of the realm, but Daniel's been there, trained him out, watched him grow. Awesome guy. We have a lot of things in common of our past, but to see him, you know, as he said, you know, change himself up from the things he used to do, man, is just a pleasure. I feel like I'm blessed to be, you know, to know him and see this happen. And with that being said, Daniel, I wanted to ask you. So you said you took that and parlayed it into sports. And so if I did my history, my research right, you went to Silver Hills, is it Sherwood, Arkansas?
Sherwood.
Okay, cool. And I know you were a standout in wrestling and football.
Yeah, I was, but I was also really talented in baseball.
See, that's what I didn't know.
And so something that a lot of people don't know is that baseball was my number one sport in my life. I always wanted to be a baseball player. I've been playing baseball since I was 4 years old. And so coming up, that was always my thing. Well, I hit a rough patch my 9th grade year when I decided that I was going to just not care about school or grades. And therefore, I was not eligible for my 9th grade baseball team. I go into the 10th grade, the wrestling opens up. That's when they bring wrestling back to Silver Hills. It hadn't been there since like the 90s. They brought it back to Silver Hills at that point in time. I went out for the baseball team again. I ain't gonna lie, the coach just sat me down. He basically pretty much told me like, hey, look, we've had guys here this past year. They put in the work and everything.
I know what you're saying.
You know, and who am I to give you a spot on this team? And these guys been putting in the work this whole offseason and so on and so forth. I respected it. As soon as I left there, the very next day was wrestling tryouts.
So you
football season had just ended. I was like, I'm going to wrestling tryouts. Told my mom, came home and said, Mom, I'm going to wrestling tryouts. She said, what? I said, yep, wrestling tryouts. I had recently watched that movie with John Cena in it where he was a wrestling coach for his little brother or whatever.
Oh, man,
I swear to everything I love. Everything I love, bro. So I decided I was going to go to wrestling tryouts. I got there, and this program, Silver Hills program at the time, was very poor. We had almost no funding and no money. So we was literally taking wrestling shoes out of a tote bin that were like from a thrift store, right? And that's what we had to use. We had no uniforms, no singlets, nothing. So we was just out there in like basketball shorts and football t-shirts, wrestling at meets and stuff like that.
Hey, I'm gonna say it like this: when they pulled up, everybody was like, "What?" Yeah, but hey, guess what happened after the match started? Yeah, see that? Hey, that's so you know you hungry. You got the eye of the tiger when you pull up on like that, bro. You pull up like that, and if I'm in the gym and I got my squad, we all singleted up. I mean, we lit up, we a whole squad. We been practicing all week, bro. We ready for this. We knew the competition's coming up, and I see y'all up in there with basketball shirts. I'm like, hey, coach, I quit, man. Time out.
We had 1 week of practice though. That's what I'm saying. It was tryouts, practice, meet. That same week.
But you're not getting it.
So I wasn't doing nothing in there but like doing football moves and stuff like that. I knew nothing.
You still ain't getting it. For me to have trained all them weeks, y'all just had trained, and then the more you tell me that now, that's even more scarier. That y'all done walked your asses in there with some regular clothes on.
Regular clothes.
And I'm just like, okay, hey, coach, that dude in my weight class? Yeah, I don't know. I 2 pounds less than he do. Ain't even
regular clothes on, had no idea. Now I'll say this too: my 10th grade year, I was ineligible to compete for state due to grades once again. So it's not that I was stupid or dumb or anything. I just didn't care. You know that's really what it come down to. At a certain point, I was at school for sports purposes only. I had to brush that out of my mind. So those next 2 years, I grinded in the classroom because I realized that you got to grind in the classroom to be able to grind on the mat.
I got you, man. Well, okay, and
Great lesson, man.
And the cool thing I said about what you're saying is I see that you have a pattern of basically learning and correcting your mistakes, correcting the life as it goes further in because of the mistakes you've made. You're making sure you don't do those mistakes again.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome. Well, so if you can go back right now and tell the young you before the athleticism, before the knowing how to decide to get it together, what would you tell the young you right now? And I don't mean, and okay, you on 2 ball guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, we keep it 100% real. Don't give me no little mansy-pansy answer. Well, I go back and say, no, we want the real Daniel. So if you had to go back and just be cutthroat, dry with this, like, listen, what would you tell yourself?
At which point in life? So
Wait,
before I started playing, getting into
before you got into sports, the knucklehead little dude that kept messing up.
I would just say, get your head out your ass, bro. The world don't owe you nothing.
Mm.
I thought the world owed me something. I thought the world was out to get me, and the world ain't out to get me. I was out here looking at life like with the glass half empty instead of the glass half full. That's something that I take real serious now.
What when you say that, man, and if you don't mind me, sorry for interrupting, but I just want to pause there. When you say that you had that mindset of the world was out to get you, you know, that it owed you something, but you know, the world again was out to get you, like you said, and I understand that feeling, you know, kind of wondering what everybody's true intentions are. That's something that's still experienced on the indie scene this day. Every time you walk into a brand new promotion, you know, you kind of got to wonder, you know, okay, are they for me? Are they not? You know, it being a performer yourself, you know, you're literally trusting your life in your opponent's hands. What influenced that lesson being learned to you so early on in life?
To be honest, bro, my grandfather, who was my father figure throughout my life, he passed away on actually New Year's Day of 2011. Um, so right now this is 15 years since he's been gone. And pretty much like I just went down a hole of nobody cares. You know what's the point of life if we're all gonna die anyway? You know what's the point of even of trying anymore? You know what I mean? I was just mad at the world. Like literally anything anybody said to me, crooked, sideways, or anything, I was on you. And what I mean by that is I was punching you. I was beating your ass. That's just what I did.
Right.
That's who I was. I got a nickname at a very early age. They used to call me Trank. It was real short for tranquilizer because when I hit people, they went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And
I get what you mean.
That carried me, you know, it carried around with me. It sound good, but when I got older, it became something I just didn't want no more.
Hold up, bro.
Right. Oh, I can totally get that.
You just can't just run it. Tranquilizer? I mean, like, bam.
Yes. Yes. That was my nickname.
Sleeper, man.
Yeah, put him to sleep.
And a lot of people still call me that.
For your afternoon nap.
Okay, so now you made this. Now you got all that together. You getting yourself together. You didn't left that bad boy thing alone. You done messed around and got yourself together as far as school. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and now you're into athletics. At one point in time, did you decide in your mind that you were going to go into professional wrestling? And was it because you are a high school athlete? Was it easier to transfer over from high school sports into professional wrestling because you're an athlete, or do you think it'd have been just the way you are, you'd have made it regardless?
That's a good one. So pretty much after high school, I going into my senior year, I snapped my ankle playing baseball in the summer for an outside source. Now I wasn't playing baseball for school or anything, just an outside source. Okay, because I couldn't give it up. I was too in love. And I couldn't get it up.
AAU.
So yeah. So I ended up snapping my ankle, sliding into home plate. I was safe. But I had ankle reconstruction. Well, I needed to be ready, so I missed my whole senior year of football. But I needed to be ready for wrestling season because at that point, that had kind of took over baseball. You know, wrestling season was my thing, and I had a big opportunity to go to state and do something. And so I decided that that's what I wanted to do was just rehab my ankle and come back. I actually came back a little bit earlier than I should have, but to me, I didn't care because I needed to be there. It's my senior year. It's the last year I was gonna be able to do this in my mind. Throughout that season, I ended up getting some calls and some emails to go wrestle at some colleges and stuff like that. I had good enough grades at the time and everything of that sort. We went down that path. We went down that wrestling path and everything of that sort. But I ended up coming home due to some health issues with my grandmother. She ended up breaking her arm. So I ended up coming home to kind of, help her out and everything of that sort. And so when I did that, I still needed something. There was still this burning sensation in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I had already hit up my trainer, who is John Action Jackson, Jonathan Holt. I had already hit him up. He told me, hit me up when you're 18 years old. We'll see what we can do. On my 18th birthday, I messaged him. I said, hey, look, I'm ready to train. He told me everything that I needed, where to meet him at, how much money to bring, and all that stuff. My mom helped me get all that together. I went. I started training that day. This was kind of around the COVID time, though. So when COVID happened, a lot of wrestling shut down. So I wasn't training as much. I wasn't wrestling as much or anything of that sort. So I had decided, well, I still got to be able to do something. So I went and played softball, men's softball. Was playing that for a little bit. The team I was on was trash. Trash. It was only about 3 of us on the team that was good. Everybody else was old and trash. So that team ended up getting into arguments and everything. I was like, no, forget this shit. I don't need this. So I ended up leaving that, and that's when I went to play professional football for a little bit.
Okay.
So I went and played that for a little bit. It got to a point to where I needed to decide: was I gonna play this football every year, or so on and so forth, or was I gonna lock in on this wrestling shit and do it? So I decided to lock in on the wrestling, and that's when I really started putting my all into wrestling. As far as the hard part for me when I came into wrestling was not being so hard on myself. There's just certain things that you have to do when wrestling.
Hold on, wait. Okay, Daniel, I'm gonna give you that one, but it was other shit too. Now, y'all gotta remember, I've been around Daniel since. Daniel, you remember we was there for the RWE days of training, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, that was before COVID.
That was after COVID.
No, that was before COVID. No, that was before COVID.
As soon as COVID was ending.
That was before COVID. I had lost y'all then. Remember, I was with y'all before COVID. And then I had lost y'all. I just left and everything.
No way.
No,
I graduated high school.
You know what?
COVID started.
Two ball guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Two Ball Guys Newlywed segment.
Yes. The two, man, I know you didn't. No, Two Ball Guys would like to apologize and retract the statement. Daniel's right. It was after COVID. But back to the point. No, Daniel, I almost say he's matured a lot. Daniel just went hard on himself. He was on everybody else. Dude, you was bust our asses, bro. Daniel come to training, how you feeling bad as hell. Daniel, he's one of the best shit talks I've ever heard. I ain't gonna lie. Daniel Thompson can talk.
But it was but that's how I did it in wrestling. I was a 2-year team captain my 11th, 12th grade years. Yes. So that's how I talk to my guys. Hey, you being a little bitch. You need to be, you know what I'm saying? Your finger popped out of place, pop that bitch back in, tape it together, let's get back out there. We got fucking meets to win, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to be all conference, we're trying to be all state. We don't got time to bullshit, I brought that mindset into this. It's not the same. Okay? It's not the same, and as much as maybe back in the 90s and shit like that, it may have been that way, but now it's not that way. So you're better off keeping a smile on your face, you know what I'm saying? Picking up those guys that may be struggling instead of kind of showing it on your face. I went to seminars, right? I was going to these seminars, and I felt like every time I was at a seminar, I got paired up with somebody who wasn't as far along as me. I'm not going to say not as good, but they weren't as far along as me, and when we were doing drills, they would mess up. It would kind of make me look bad, and I wore that on my face. I wore that on my demeanor. I wore that on all that stuff, and you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be more positive. You have to be more driven. Now, when I'm with y'all, I'm gonna talk my shit because that's y'all. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to be great. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's different. But when I'm out there in public and I'm around other people, I really need to help those guys that need help instead of you're less than. That's wrong. You don't need to treat nobody as they're less than. Just help them. Bring them up to speed. Help them out. But hey, look, next time, you don't have to be an asshole with everything that you do. And that's something that I've had to learn throughout my life for sure.
Well, I want to commend you because you don't know this, but I'll tell you this. He hasn't said this, but you've made a big impact on the other young guy I'm managing. He looks up. He likes you a lot. You do. There's a lot of things about him. I see a little similarity in you as far as I see the similarity in him and the things that you do and have accomplished. And he looks up to you, and I appreciate the first day you met him, you didn't treat him like an outsider. You and he liked that it kind of broke the ice because he's a guy that has those issues where he don't really get along with everybody socially. And so your experiences in life of what you've been through, I think that kind of helped you develop into who you are, and you helped him. I don't know if, like I said, I want to tell you that you did. You helped him as far as he changed his gear. Yeah, he's just working on that now. He changed his gear. And I told him, I said, Dave, man, he said, yeah, you can tell him that. I told him he can tell you that, but I know how you are about you don't make nobody feel bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to just first time I met him, I'm like, hey, your gear. No,
but you were, and you're. I mean, that helped him. He appreciated that. Yeah. So that was a good thing. I think what you do is awesome, and I want to let you know that kudos to you. Here's your flowers. He appreciated
any information that I pass on is something that I've heard told to me. You know, this is something that I've either struggled with or somebody said something to me. You know what I mean? I don't particularly wear boots in the ring. I just don't. It just doesn't kind of go with my outfit right now that I wear. but I have a pair.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And every wrestler should have a pair. You know what I mean? Regardless if you're wearing them in ring or not, you should have a pair. When I go to seminars and stuff like that, I wear boots.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I am serious about this.
Yeah,
You know what
I got you.
And every wrestler should have a pair of boots. And I mean that's just something that I was told from day one. So I just figure, it's common knowledge at this point. But not everybody knows that. Not everybody's given that stuff. Not everybody has that knowledge. I've heard this knowledge from people at the very top. You know what I'm saying? So this is stuff that I'm just giving, bro. Spread the wealth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Let's not just hold people back. This, like I said, this isn't the '90s anymore. You know what I mean? We're in 2026. There's no point in holding people back, bro. Just spread the wealth. If you scared somebody gonna take your spot, well, they probably should take your spot.
I hear
You know what I mean?
That's a great way to put it, man. For real.
If you feel
For
like
real.
somebody's going to take your spot, well, then they probably should take your spot because obviously you're something you're not doing to your best ability.
Yeah.
And if that goes for body, if that goes for mic skills, that goes for wrestling ability, any of that, get better.
You were talking earlier on, and just kind of and I don't mean to glaze over this in any way, shape, or form, man, but kind of recapping what you've told us so far. You suffered tragedy and loss at a young age that influenced your younger thinking when your father figure, your grandfather passed away. Understandably so. And then, through that grief and the anger of that, you kind of began to form this opinion on the world of it owed you something. You didn't owe it anything. You were, as you said, angry. You dropped out of school or had some rough early years in school. And then kind of discovered some success when you came back and got into sports and started wrestling and high school sports and started kind of finding a passion for yourself at that age and an outlet for some of that anger that you've had pent up, a way to let go of some things. Absolutely. And you found success in that. And then you continued to try to find that success outside of high school once you had graduated in, softball teams and local, co-op sports, as I call it. And you found a little bit here and there, but it wasn't really what you're looking for. So you decide that, wrestling is really my thing. It's what's calling to me. That's what I want to put all my eggs in the wrestling basket. You decide to do that, and then bam, COVID hits, which of course changes the world and still has changed the world in many ways. And for us on the wrestling scene, I mean, it changed the landscape of everything from the very top main stages all the way down to the indie scene. You're not going to pack a bingo hall full of 500 people right now without having, every government agency in there checking everybody out during COVID. That's not happening. So with that, again, to recap, you go through these things, you find success, then you don't, then you find success. Now you're planning on going into wrestling, and bam, that door gets shut in your face at that time for what we knew wrestling as it was. How, in that moment, did you avoid yourself from slipping back into that mindset of, man, again, I feel like the world owes me something. I've been putting in all this work. I find a passion. I decide to follow it. I want to do it. I believe I'm following what I know is to be the blueprint of life. And the door gets slammed in my face. How, instead of going down that route, do you tell yourself, to stay positive and navigate through the challenges?
God.
Man. Amen.
I mean, seriously, anybody who knows me in my personal life knows my faith in Christ. I owe him everything. You know what I'm saying? Been with me through everything has helped me through so much. Like I know I spoke on my grandfather passing away, in 2011 on New Year's Day, but September 26th of this year, I actually lost my grandmother as well. So that really hurt me. And then my son had just been born August 13th. So here I am with my new son, and I feel like my son's not gonna grow up with the same love that I did, having her in our lives. You know what I'm saying? So that hurt me. It really did hurt me. But wrestling helped me with that. Actually, I know this is gonna sound crazy. I had a booking that day. And we had knew that she was sick and she was probably gonna go pretty soon. It's not like it all just came out of nowhere, or anything of that sort. But I decided instead of sitting there being sad, uh, having a bad attitude, keeping myself down and everything, man, I rolled up to Bradford, Tennessee that night, and I wrestled for Premier Wrestling, you know, and I'm so glad I did that. I needed to be around my guys that day, you know. I needed to get my mind off of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, and everything. Because like I said, I already knew it was coming. I had kind of already got all my tears and my feelings out about it. You know, at a certain point when you see somebody in a certain state, you kind of know, like, is their soul there
Right.
anymore? You know, and so that hurt me. You know what I mean? But back to what you said, it's just God, man. God always kept me since I welcomed him into my life. He always kept me right. You know, throughout my childhood and stuff, I did a lot of plays. I did a lot of thespian
Mhm.
plays for a church. Me and my
Mhm.
cousin, we won a competition for dramatic duo throughout church. Um, I sing at the church, all types of stuff of that sort. So yeah, I love giving to Christ. I love what Christ has given to me. You know, no matter how much I give to Him, I can never repay Him for what He's done for us. You know what I'm saying? And just I always, anytime anybody asks me for advice, I always look to Christ. You know, and I know that sucks. I'm gonna tell people, hey, you ask me for advice, I'm gonna tell you to look to Christ. You know, or I'm gonna quote something that Christ has said. You know, I'm going to do something of that sort because that's who I lean on. You know, that is my number one in the entire world. You know what I'm saying? Christ, others, yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the only way to get joy.
Yeah.
Jesus, others,
Right.
yourself. You know what I mean? So
Amen.
I mean, you know.
Well, we're gonna get.
So let me ask you, man. You performed here.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to interrupt you, man. I had to give him applause on that, man. He just gave us
No, no,
a
man.
he gave
Absolutely,
us a
absolutely,
whole
dude.
a great answer,
And
man.
thank you
So
seriously for sharing that with us, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So let me ask you now, as far as areas that you perform in, is it mainly Arkansas or are you in other areas as well?
I would say yes, it's mainly Arkansas, but I've performed from Arkansas to Alabama, Texas to Tennessee to Mississippi. So I've been in
Okay.
all those
Right on.
states around. You know what I mean? And obviously, I can't wait to broaden that even more. You know, I'm still young in my career and everything like that, but you know, man, I'm gonna be around for a while. You know, I love this
So
thing. This is my number one.
let me ask you this, man. When you're performing here in Arkansas, what makes crowds here different? What does an Arkansas crowd have that you might not see anywhere else?
I'm not sure. I would say, you know what? Something about some of these Arkansas crowds is that they really do get invested in the storylines. They're really they're really invested in the storylines. Now I know everywhere should be invested in the storylines, but here in Arkansas, it's almost like family members. Like you hurt somebody
All
in
right.
the wrestling, and they're like, you know, they feel like that's their brother. You know what I'm saying? And you're just like, oh my god. So, I would have to say that the passion within the storylines and actually following the storylines, man, these people will be here week in and week out. There are certain shows that go every week, and these people are here every single week. And I give it up to them for real, like applause, like because I mean that is great. You know what I mean? So that's something that they definitely do here that they don't that I haven't seen out there. Granted, I haven't been out there as much as I've been here, so I'm speaking from a biased
Right.
standpoint. But I would say that the storylines, following storylines, is definitely something that I see here. Like people take to heart.
hey, man,
Yeah, man.
I got much love for him, man. So I'm gonna let y'all know, two ball guys, don't nobody touch my buttons, man. This man went in and pushed my applause button, so we ain't doing, man, we don't do that here, bro. You don't touch my button like that. That's mine.
He
You don't
went
do
perfect
that.
though.
It ain't gonna lie, it was smooth though.
Oh,
It was smooth, but it's
okay,
mine.
okay.
It was smooth though. He did, and then he did smooth. Like he kind of slid over there like this, like bam. I said, "What is this touch a button?" All right, bro.
I ain't gonna
So
touch no more buttons.
no, you good, man. Okay, so now let's get into the real. I know the answer for this. You don't know, but I know. So I know as a child, you probably, I mean, even not as a child, I always say when I say a child, I don't mean like just 2 and 3. I mean like, I think to the age of 13, you somebody's baby. 14, you always somebody's baby, but you really ain't baby till like the age of 13. So during that time, if you did watch professional wrestling, who were some of your goats, and who is your goat? I already know the answer to this question. Who your goat is, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you got to say.
All right. Some of the people that I looked up to growing up was I was real big into and I'm just gonna say this because I do have African American ancestry in my blood. So I want to
Really?
make sure that this is very, very known.
Okay, I didn't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know.
I like to drift towards African American wrestlers in a way. So the people that I looked up to was like Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah.
I saw Bobby Lashley and I thought, oh my God. I grew up in the town that I was watching, we had, Kofi Kingston. He was still the Jamaican Kofi Kingston, but hey, shit, he was my guy, you know. I like the Prime Time.
Oh, come on, yeah, Prime Time was right.
You know what I'm saying? Shad and JTG.
Yeah.
Those was my dogs, you know what I mean? But if I had to give like who the best at that time were to me, clearly I'm gonna start from 5 and go down to 1. Okay. So at 5, I'm gonna go Rey Mysterio. I always loved Rey Mysterio and the way he would, move around in the ring. I thought that was awesome how he
he's
hit middle
ageless.
ropes.
Ageless.
You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. Mark Henry was my guy. I feel like he had the best theme song you could have at the time.
Which one? The 6-1? Somebody good.
Yes. With 3-6. Yes.
That was nice.
3-6 Mafia had the best theme song. Yes, for sure. And then obviously Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy had a big impact on a lot of people. And when I used to see him jump off these things into like trash can bins and everything, bro, I was just like, bro, he got it. You know what I'm saying? He really had me and my brothers out there in the yard doing that shit off the deck and stuff like that onto each other. You know what I'm saying? At number 4, or number 2, I'm gonna give it to Randy Orton. I've always liked Randy. Randy was my guy, and he always made number 1.
You bet.
The greatest of all time.
You don't know it.
John Felix Anthony Cena Jr. look amazing. Because that is the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
I knew it was coming, bro.
John Cena. Nobody can change my mind. John Cena.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Well,
I was going to say, if you could pick any opponent, but I have a feeling it's going to be John Cena.
If I had an opponent to work, though, it might not be John Cena.
Who would that be?
I'd rather tag with Cena.
Okay, you got to ask a question now, man.
Because if I was to have to work somebody, I think I want to work Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh, that's a worker.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think if there's anybody in this world I want to work, it'd probably be Dolph.
That's a worker. He's a good seller, too. Good seller. Well, we've asked you a lot.
So why Dolph? Out of anybody, any opponent, any company, any era, why Dolph?
I like the way he works. I like the way how he does business. He'll do business. No matter what he's asked to do, he'll do business. And I guess, we've seen that over the years. He has put people over so many times. He's a great heel. That's somebody who usually works babyface. I would love the heat that he would get. I would love the selling that he would do. I love the zigzag. I think it's a great finisher. Personally, I just enjoy it. The way it looks. I've took it a couple times. I like the way it feels. And I just like a lot about Dolph Ziggler, the way he can speak on a mic, the way he can really get the crowd to hate him. When they came here, WWE came here to Little Rock maybe what was that, 4 or 5 years ago? I can't remember. It was some years ago, though.
Oh, no, I was going to say, they came here, WWE Raw just came here, I think it was like a year or 2 ago.
But this particular time, though, the music hit is HBK music, right? I see, I'm, and then, Dolph Ziggler come through the Dolph Ziggler come out, I'm like,
just like, man.
I'm like, oh, hell no.
Man, you done pissed on my dream.
I thought HBK was coming out, bro.
Trolled.
Got me, bro. So, I've always messed with Dolph, though, for real.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Well, we've asked a bunch of questions today. And I got one final question for you. And I really need you to answer this and think about this. This is one of those questions that this is going to basically define who Daniel Thompson Brown is. As an individual, we live different creeds. Everybody lives different. In my opinion, I think that helps shape your legacy. So for you, Atua, what is your motto? And how does it impact your building of your legacy?
This is something that my dad used to say to me, and just when I would see him, I didn't grow up with my dad a whole bunch, but he was still there, and I would see him from time to time. And the one thing he always said, and he stole this obviously, but he would always say, "With great power comes great responsibility." And as somebody who ended up getting like real strong at a young age, and a bigger person, I wasn't always big. But I was real stout growing up, you know what I'm saying? I'm strong from the cock. I'm cock strong, you know what I'm saying? No weights needed. I mean, I lift weights, but no weights needed, you know what I'm saying? And he always said, with great power comes great responsibility. And so I've always held that true to my heart, because that's true. Like you can really, my demeanor, can really come off crazy to certain people. Like sometimes when I just walk up, it's intimidating. Sometimes when I do certain things, and I never want to come off that way, but it is what it is. So you have to make sure that you're keeping yourself in a friendly mindset, in a friendly tone, in a friendly way, an approachable way. I want to be an approachable person. Like you ever got a question, you can come ask me. I'm not gonna be a dickhead to you. You feel me? And you should never be scared to ask me anything, because I'm always gonna try and give you the best advice that I can. And so I've always kept that real close. I've even thought about getting that tattooed on me before. Okay. Just with great power becomes great responsibility, because that is true in so many ways. And Stan Lee wrote that.
I'm glad you said
Stan Lee a goat for that, because that's great.
I'm glad you said that, though. You said it in so many ways. I was gonna go there with that. Because that's the thing about maturity, and I see where your level of maturity is at the way you answer that question. Because when you said with the quote you made, a lot of people were just thinking when you're talking about, you said, well, you went that route, like I understand I gotta watch myself and have that responsibility because I'm a stronger guy. Not only that, but then you said, and wherever it's like, boom, it's like that. It's like, even that's like people that have doorways that can open things up for you. It's like you have a great power. Be respectable and responsible with that power. Open that door for that next person if he needs it. Or you have that knowledge and wisdom in the locker room. Yes. Go to that young person, you the vet, like boom. And young people accept it. Have the knowledge and wisdom to be quiet and accept this knowledge that they're giving to you.
Gotta be coachable.
And when you said, hit the button now. And then when you said that, hit that button. There we go. Yeah, and so when you said that, it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Just the way it came out, it was perfect.
Yeah, bro. You got to be coachable. If you're not coachable, then you're not. I don't know how you're going to make it in the locker room. And we know guys, okay, that have had struggles with that.
Yes.
Now, although they are better now,
yeah,
and I love them to death, you know what I'm saying? But you just have to be able to have that, you know, because it's serious. You don't want to, I'm going to tell you this. You don't want to rub people the wrong way first and then try and make them like you later.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Look at them.
You better off making them
gems.
You better off making them like you first so that it's hard for them to hate you. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying now. This is real.
You're taking us to church.
If you piss somebody off the first time you meet them, okay, then they are, okay, to hell with this dude. You know what I'm saying? But if they like you at first, they're going to be like, something's going on with this guy. What's going on with him? Let me see why this is happening. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want somebody to just hate you off rip. You want somebody to like you, grow with you, all that stuff. And then when you have bad days, it's just bad days. Mm-hmm. But if you're already bad, okay, then I did this many weeks good. Oh, but then he's right back to bad. Oh, he's right back to bad. You know what I'm saying?
And what that is the same thing they tell you in sales, tell you when you're doing anything with performing. Always remember to undersell and over-deliver. Never oversell, under-deliver. It's never, ever, ever. Absolutely. And that is a good thing that you said that right there is on point. On point. All the way to the coffee shop. I was about to hit that. Yeah, man. Yeah, brother.
So let me ask you one final question for me, man. When fans look back on your career 5 years from now, what moment do you want them talking about?
I want them talking about and I've been
Bro,
blessed.
You did some
I've
amazing
been
stuff.
so blessed early in my career. You know, a lot of people come into the wrestling business and they, they lose a lot and they go under a lot and so on and so forth. But I've been actually blessed to where I've been put over. A lot of people like me, and they've kind of put me in bigger roles and bigger spots pretty fast, pretty quick.
You've already been a
You
world
know,
champion. That's the thing. He's already been a world champion too.
Yep, I was world
Oh yeah,
champion
man! Congratulations.
at MCW, and I was more than grateful for the opportunity, man. I love those guys out there, man, and I owe them a great deal for my career because they definitely helped boost me, especially boost my confidence. You know what I mean? That they thought enough of me to put their main title on me and let me hold that. And that was great. I enjoyed that so much, and I can't wait to get back out there and work for those guys again. But so I guess looking back, man, I just want people to see my growth.
Nice.
Like I said, personally, I've seen it. I'm around you a lot of times. Like I said, if y'all don't know this I call him my big little bro. That's what he is. You know what I'm saying? He's helped me out a lot. Like I got some upcoming changes coming up with my character. He's helped with that. So that's like this, it's like fam. We're with Pack Sports. That's a family. Regardless of how anybody feels about the situations, we always come together. We solidify ourselves in times we're supposed to.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We're a group. Also, he does things with me here and there. He might do his own little thing. If I'm there, I dap him up, see what's good with him. It's fam, man.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, Tua, before we let you go, man, where can fans follow you, find you, support you, see what you're up to, where you're going to be at? How do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook at Atua, just Atua. You can, if you want any merch or anything of that sort, you can message me there or at atuaprowrestling@gmail.com. You can also catch me on my Instagram at _.spin with 2 N's, the number 4, and then Trank, TRANK. That is also my Instagram handle. You can catch me there. I always post my posters. I always represent the shows that I'm going to be on and so on and so forth. So definitely be on the lookout for that. A lot of stuff happening. Action Pack Sports got a lot of stuff coming up soon. We're gonna be real busy with that stuff. Definitely just keep an eye out, a lookout, man. And I just can't wait to see y'all for sure.
Yeah, man. Good deal. Well, hey, man, thanks.
Hold up, Rich. We got a couple more things going. We're gonna hype it up right now. Okay, I never break kayfabe on our show, right? I'm gonna break kayfabe.
Sure.
I'm gonna break kayfabe right now. Listen here, dirty little gang. I got something to tell you. On January 17th, in the Valiant Arena, Tuckman, Arkansas, Black Diamond Enterprises won't be waving no flag. You will. And we coming for what's ours. The gold. The unified MACW Arkansas World Tag Team Championships. And we being nice about it now because I'm doing a podcast with my guy here. But we're not playing. You're looking at the future tag team champion. So I got to say.
Oh, yeah, man. Things heating up already. Be sure to get your tickets to that. Well, hey, man, again, I want to thank you for coming on Atua. Bro, keep grinding, keep building, keep showing the world who Atua is. And, man, we appreciate you taking some time out of your day, man, hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, man. And I hope that our paths cross again later on down the road, bro.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having me, for sure, bro. Thank you.
Oh, man, much love. There's always love between me and you, my little bro. So much love. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in for that interview. Like I said, we got more that's coming. Stay tuned, man. I'm going to get you all the locks. Also, too, if you need to get a hold of Atua's shirts as far as merchandise, if you can't get a hold of him, hit us up at 2 Ball Guys in the messenger here, on my page, or you can just hit me up regardless. Trust me, he's not going to run out of shirts. I know personally he won't run out of shirts. Believe that. So, yeah. So, y'all have a good one, man. Have a good one.